See what I'm saying? You know, even on social media, you got motherfuckers that will say certain things like, you know, oh, Lex is lazy or Lex is out of shape. And I laugh at it. I'm like, well, ha, ha, ha. Two things. You know, I'm definitely not lazy. And I would stand up at my age against anybody my age in terms of how good of shape. I make my living, a percentage of my living is made with my clothes off. So I'm, by way of obligation, I'm going to stay in a certain measure of shape. And that takes work. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't gotten into the testosterone therapies. I've thought about it. And I know that it's something that's still on the shelf. It's just the same with the drugs. It's just, I don't mean the drugs, recreational drugs. I mean the ED drugs and the needles.
You never got to the point of consistently taking a pill to shoot?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I would say I've, well, no, not in terms of it being a requisite to shoot. I've always been aware of pills once they became the thing. It's never become my thing because if you become, developing resistance takes a really long time. But if you get to the point where you're obligating yourself to needing that to work, then that's an issue.
Yeah.
So over the years, have I used it? Oh, yeah. Has it been something that, it's the difference of saying, have you done cocaine or do you do cocaine?
Yeah.
I have done blow. I have done the ED drugs. Do I do cocaine? I have done it. Do I do it? No. Well.
If it came down to it. Yeah. If you were at the right party.
Right party, you know, one of those Diddy parties. But yo, let me tell you something. I've been
to one of those?
Nah.
Okay.
I've been to similar stuff. I haven't been to his. I met him. I did meet him.
Yeah. Was he aware of your?
Oh man, it was the coolest shit, bro. It was Avian of 2000. What would have been 2004. I had a booth at the convention, Mercenary, my company. So he came to the award convention to visit two booths, Tara Patrick over at Digital Playground and Lexington Steele over at his Mercenary Pictures booth.
Wow.
And that was really cool when I met him. He came over, big wave of people coming over. And you've seen the convention. I saw you there.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to a guy, and my assistant, one of my managers came over to me and was like, yo, you know, I think you want to talk to this person. And I'm like, oh, give me a second. Because of one of my fans, I forward my fans as much time as I can, you know. That guy may have drove across the country to meet his fans, right? So I look over there and it's P. Diddy. And Diddy is sitting there, he was just chilling. He wasn't like, he had his sunglasses on, had a bad boy varsity jacket on, black with the white sleeves, had the big, dark sunglasses on. And but he sat there patiently with his hands together right there on the counter. It was so cool because you could tell he was like, yo, bro is over there. He knew what it is to appreciate a fan. And he didn't want to interrupt my time with the fan, even though one of the guys that worked for me was willing to pull me away from some random person to speak. So I, that was the one time that I've ever met Diddy. And am I aware of the stuff that he was doing? Have I been aware of it? A lot of the stuff is as much news to me as it is
right
to everybody else.
And now that we've heard stories about him and men, it kind of makes you feel like, wow, maybe his appreciation for you went a little deeper.
There is that. but there is that in porno anyhow, where it's like a lot of the appreciation for male performers, can come from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But with Diddy, no. I would say, of course I wouldn't know, but that was well before even the thought of, and nobody even knew what was going on. See what I'm saying? Like, okay, I've had some pretty cool experiences with meeting celebrities. Meeting Jamie Foxx. That was probably the coolest thing that I've ever been involved with when I met him. And that took place at his compound. You ever been to Jamie's party? Jamie Foxx has a compound in Lost Hills.
Okay.
I believe. Bro, man. you think about Fantasy Island, right? Just mass. I mean, the gate. You go, the guardhouse. What are we going to the? You know what I'm saying? Where are we at? We going to see? It's just incredible, incredible. So when I met him, it was really, really cool because at a certain point in the party, they had to be very restrictive about they're no longer letting new people into the party, into the house. So I was outside the house. I think I was on my cell phone or maybe having a cigarette. So security on the side of the house, the door that I had just been at, must have thought that I just had walked up to the door or wasn't at the party. And at this point, they weren't letting any more people. So he thought I was trying to circumvent the fact that they were no longer letting anybody in. So I'm telling the dude, like, yo, I've been here all night. What are you talking about? And he wasn't gonna let me back in. So the coolest thing was like, all you heard was, yo, what the what are you doing? And I look over to my right, and Jamie his guards were like 6'6", big dudes, man. Jamie's about 6 foot. He said, come over. And I didn't know whether he's talking to me. And I thought he was gonna hit the dude, the security guy. He was like, do you know who this is my house. If this guy wants to, do you know who the this is? And I'm sitting there like, yeah. Right? And so Jamie was really, really laid into his guy for the fact that that he was going to disallow me from going back into the party. He totally apologized for security, gave me a fat pound. We talked for a second, and he was like, bro, it was like, it's been nice to meet you. I'm like, yo, it's been nice to be at your. So I've been to Jamie's house for parties subsequent to that maybe one or two more times. But I've never, his parties I don't think were like that. They weren't. Right. He has a crazy music studio on his grounds where people are singing that you may not know them from radio, but there's so many people with talents you wouldn't believe, and you would see these people that you're like, why isn't that person on the radio? Or like, why isn't that person like, what I'm saying? I may even sit next to, whomever, and I didn't even know until they picked up the microphone. Like, hey, isn't that the guy that was, that's the dude that was on Saturday Night Live last week. And you never knew. He's been all night. You might have seen him, gave him a pound.
Crazy.
So I've never, that's not to say I haven't been at some parties.
Right.
And some parties I've been in attendance, and some parties I was actually working. But I've never been in a Diddy party.
Well, it's crazy because a lot of people make a lot out of the Diddy thing and the freak off thing. To me, outside of anything non-consensual or illegal, the idea of a freak off, that sounds great. Sounds like a fine Friday night from my perspective, until you start getting into the things that may have not been appropriate. But it is kind of weird to hear people sort of act as if everything that ever happens at a late night Hollywood party is necessarily sinister, which I don't think it typically is.
Well, I put it like this. I think that if as with many things, if you are not a participant, then you most often are not even exposed to it.
Right.
I think that maybe there could have been things I was at and in attendance where I wasn't a part of the after party.
Right. You have to have a certain level of trust to get invited to that sort of thing, I think. And that might in some cases mean that they have something on you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary to imagine, but